Well, hello everyone, it's Kevin here. Today, what I want to do is show you guys a project that I did, and this is kind of like categorized in the home art installation kind of category. So this is something I made to be put in my little home studio or office here, and I'll hang it on the wall or something like that. But I wanted to share it with you because it's pretty interesting and it has some ties to music. So here it is. It's basically a shadow box that commemorates and highlights music storage media over the different decades, I guess you could say. And these are all formats that I've stored music on or played music from in my life. So this has taken us back a little ways, and it's certainly not a history of all of the music storage media. But what you can see here, I just have this shadow box, and this is just something that I found at Michael's. So just a little project shadow box with a backing, and I basically affixed either with screws or hot glue, affixed items to this backing. And I'll just kind of walk the artifacts, if you will, here. It's like we're in a museum or something. I'll just kind of show you guys what I have in here. So starting from the top, I remember as a little kid, probably 3-4 years old, very little kid, listening to music with my dad, and we would it was kind of a bonding thing with my dad and I, and he would introduce me to old classic rock and all kinds of great music from Queen or Led Zeppelin and others. And this was the format that we would use. And this is called a reel, or it would be played on a reel-to-reel. And the player was just this large box, if you haven't seen one, a large mechanical, it looked like a big cassette player, really. And it would have two of these, one on one side and one on the other. And what would happen is as the music played, so basically this is tape wrapped around the spindle here, around the reel, and it would play through the mechanism, and then it would basically accumulate on the other reel. So you'd have a source reel and then a catch reel, and it would kind of like accumulate, and then you would rewind it back if you wanted to put the tape back on this reel and store it in your box or whatever. So this was reel to reel. And I don't think they're used too often anymore. Maybe in some people use them for analog recordings or multi-track recordings. I know that you can do multiple tracks on these tapes as well, so it's kind of cool. I remember once my dad recorded our garage band and had 4 tracks on one reel, and that was pretty cool because you could layer the tracks together. Any case, that's the reel-to-reel. Next, I clearly remember vinyl, and of course vinyl's still used very much today. But vinyl, so this is obviously just a pressed vinyl record, and I'm sure everybody knows the technology there, but essentially instead of magnetic tape where analog music is recorded on the tape, it's actually little grooves in the vinyl, and a needle rides the grooves up and down, it recreates a sound wave basically, and those vibrations translate and get amplified and turn into sound. So vinyl records, of course, like lots of different formats of vinyl have come out, but this is the full size disc there. We move on a little bit to the 8-track, and you might say that if I remember as a child, I saw a lot of 8-tracks around, and my dad would collect these, and we would have them. I even had an 8-track in my first car, 8-track player, my first old car that I got. But anyway, an 8-track is basically like a magnetic tape, but it's just in a small format, and it's inside of this 8-track tape. And you might be able to see it's kind of thicker than, you might be able to tell the dimension. It's maybe like, 3/4 of an inch thick. But anyway, here's the 8-track. This, probably most folks recognize that as a cassette tape. And that really probably was the most influential music media for me as a young child, probably like 10 or so, because I loved, collecting songs off the radio, and you could put it right on a tape, right? It was really easy to record. You can make mixtapes. You could record yourself, all kinds of fun stuff. So anyway, the actual cassette tape Again, same technology as reel-to-reel or 8-track, but in a small form factor. And you could take your Walkman with you and listen to it as you went places. But anyway, then the CD came out, and that, really trying to change things, because all of a sudden you're getting this really high quality sound. And the CD was influential for me from a couple of different reasons. One, because when I started to get into computers and that kind of thing, you could make your own CDs, and you could put MP3s on there. You could put actual, recorded music and give them out as, hey guys, here's a CD mix playlist on a CD, and it sounds great. So CDs were really cool. And that would definitely go on to dominate my teens. And anyway, I'm sure most of you guys know about CDs, but then we move into MP3s, and I've got a couple things to represent that revolution. Because once music became stored in compressed files and you could get a lot onto a disc, I would actually have really low quality MP3s stored on a floppy disk. But then usually we'd move on, right, to like the hard drive. This is just a hard drive taken apart, a little tiny hard drive, and then a USB thumb drive that I would store music on, of course, and then the iPod. So that's just an iPod shuffle, and it's not like the original or anything like that. It's just one I had in a drawer laying around. But these components all kind of representing the MP3 music revolution, which storing music on these different formats, which, this is just magnetic tape, just like these guys, okay? But it's the data to be stored on a tape. This is also a magnetic technology stored on tape, solid state technology in the iPod and the USB drive. Those are little circuit chips or, little transistor chips that basically store the data instead of magnetic tape. So really it's similar technologies as you go, but a different medium. It's not the audio, it's the file, the data of the audio that's stored. And then finally, guys, and I left some space because I don't know what's coming in the future, but this is where we are now. I just printed a little cloud with a little Spotify. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little Spotify barcode on there. And I did that because I'm like, yeah, that's where I live right now in personal music storage. Of course, for all of my DJ work, I still like to capture high quality, high bitrate MP3s, and I keep those on my hard drives or in the cloud as backup, of course. But here in the shadow box, I thought I'd represent that just with a picture and a nice little barcode. And by the way, you can use your phone and you can, take a picture of these barcodes, and just like a QR code or something, it'll pop up with the song if you search in the Spotify app. And that song is the first song, I believe, that's the first song I think I played when I first downloaded Spotify when it came out, over 10 years ago, I think it has been now. Any case, guys, I just wanted to show off my little project, my little music storage project. And I know it's not going to win any art awards or anything, but for me, there's a lot of significance here. And I feel real blessed to have had that whole lineage and history of different music storage devices. So any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.